the project, name the title of your project. And we'll just go on this one.
Hi, I'm Roxy Khan, and my film was Save My Soul.
My name's Evan Younger. I'm the singer and double bassist of the band Miracles of Modern Science, and I also directed Don't Feed the Party Animal.
My name, as was stated, is Ernest Thompson, and I wrote the lyrics for and directed You Are Loved.
My name is Ariel Bryan, and I directed The Sniffler Hindsight.
My name is John Starkin, and I directed The Adventures of the Rocket Ace, and I am a Yankee too.
My name is Noreen Huang, and I directed Things We Want, which is the last video. I'm not sure if the title was in English.
All really inspirational. Who's motivated and inspired to create a film or another film? I know I am. I definitely want to just go out there and make something. So thank you all for being here. Can you tell us how you got started with this particular idea or this content? Is there, can you just explain?
Funny thing, actually, I was preparing for exams when the idea just popped into my head. I don't know why, I thought, really, I should be studying for my exams, but then I thought, no, I should get on with it, otherwise, the idea, the urge, the passion to do it will just disappear from me. So I thought, right, do it, and I did it, and good thing, I did pass my exams with flying colours, thankfully. So yes, that answers the question.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad you passed your exams. It's important.
Well, the video started with the song, and it had this kind of retro, surf rock kind of vibe to it. So immediately I was imagining people dancing the twist and beehive hairdos, things like that. So that's where the setting came from, and then the lyrics are kind of about pent-up sexual energy leading to kind of a Jekyll and Hyde transformation. So that informs sort of the story of it. And then I guess on a practical level, I wanted to shoot it at the YouTube space in New York. And so we had a tight time frame and a black box studio to shoot in, so there were some technical limitations that I wanted something where we could build a set that would not take too long and kind of work with that minimalist approach.
Can I ask you how hard it was to start shooting at YouTube, or what did you have to do?
It's a great resource, actually. You just have to have a channel with at least, I think it's now 10,000 subscribers, and you get one production day a month for that. But you can also, it's free, and they give you, we shot on Red, which I wouldn't have been able to do.
Nice.
Just, so I recommend that.
Thank you.
My song started with a sentiment, and I was in the process of falling in love with my now wife, and I wanted her to know something, and I wanted to say that I loved her, but it seemed more important, instead of just saying I love you, which we can all say unless you came from my family, to say you are loved. And to me it has a different meaning, and it means that no matter what happens in your life, even if you don't find your pot of gold, somebody loves you. So I wrote this song, and I put it together with a composer I worked with back in New Hampshire, the woolly bearded guy, Justin James, who's amazing. And we'd made the song, and then I had a film at a film festival up in Maine last year, I think it was, and so I put in a notice saying we wanted to shoot this video. And in New England, there are no shooting permits or anything like that. You can just go and make something. And so we shot it on our iPhones, and all these people showed up, and we thought it'd be great to teach them to dance, and I had a wonderful choreographer whom I worked with before come up and teach them all the dance, and then I quickly realized they were never going to learn to dance. So I thought that's even better. It's even more fabulous that the emotion, the sentiment of it would come through. So we shot in Bar Harbor, Maine, and then we shot down in Massachusetts and in New Hampshire where I lived. And it occurred to me, fellow New Englander, that we had
Actually, I'm from Philadelphia, so
close enough. We had no one of color, and because we had very few people of color in New Hampshire. So I thought, where do you get diversity? You come to the bike path in Venice. So we came out here. We now have 11 nationalities represented in our video. So it seemed really important to make it full circle like that.
Hindsight was pretty much, it came from my brothers. I'm really, 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 really close with my brothers, and we just kind of throw around ideas all the time. Or in the middle of conversations, we'll be like, wouldn't it be funny if this happened? And so I kind of get a lot of inspiration for story ideas from that. So I actually shot, one of my brothers is in my Sniffler, and I just picked up my T5i and went outside and just shot.
Cool. How was it working with your brother? Was it like...
Because we all get along very well, and everybody that knows us pretty much just calls us triplets, even though we're 3 years apart. You know, there's 3, then 3, so there's 6 between me and the youngest. So when I need something, they're very, very helpful, which works out wonderfully, because it could turn out terrible.
My background is in documentary filmmaking and social issues, social commentary, narrative. So I've always been interested in history. And the thing that fascinates me about World War II, and I don't think a lot of people know this, is that at the same time that there was Hitler and this kind of male-dominated repression and fascism, and especially anti-Semitism, there was another movement in the world that was equally huge. And that was the suffrage movement. About a generation before the start of the war, women in America had just gotten the right to vote. So women were coming into their own socially, culturally, politically. And at the same time, they were conflicted against this, it was like female versus male, and this cultural zeitgeist. And I think that's why World War II is so fascinating on so many levels. But in any case, I wanted to tell this story, but I didn't want to do a documentary, I didn't want to do a low-budget narrative. So I picked CG because CG was the most accessible film form that could give the film a kind of epic feel. Now, the thing about machinima is that it's not DreamWorks animation, okay? It's not like that. But I compare it to anime. When anime first came to our cultural consciousness about 30, 40 years ago with cartoons and so forth, they were animating on the 3s, sometimes the 4s. And so what that meant was that you were watching still frames for like a whole scene and lips moving, and that was it. So I think CG animation, machinima animation, that's the new anime. It's the new kind of burgeoning, nascent art form that's going to sweep animation. And I love it. I love working in it. I don't have to, fly a crew to Saudi Arabia and shoot in the desert for real. I can just buy a set and work at my computer in my underwear and just, I don't have to deal with the grip trucks and the honey wagons and all the stuff you need to make a live action film. I can do it. And so it's a fascinating, fascinating art form. I love it. And it took me 10 years to learn how to animate, but I think the results are just, I love working in that medium.
How long did it take for you to do this particular project?
Well, like I said, it took me 10 years to learn how to do animation, and then 3 years ago I hired the voice actors off the web, and they did the voices. 2 years ago, I started my Twitter feed. A year ago, I did a storyboard, a 2D storyboard. 9 months ago, I did a rough cut. I sent that out to my Facebook friends, got some feedback. I decided to change a lot of the rendering, animation, lighting, so forth. And so we're up to this version now, which took about 2 months.
Oh, nice.
Hi. Yeah, so first, I wanted to do video with an astronaut kind of exploring the planet, and we didn't have the budget to go to another planet, so let's do what we got, and it's the Earth that we're living in, and which is kind of cool because we four of us, including the actor. We drove on the road trip and explore our way as we shoot and realized that we were kind of just like the character itself. While we're shooting, we're seeing all these beautiful places in California that we've never really paid attention to before, which is awesome.
I was just interested, can you tell us how many projects or films you completed, or is this the first project? And if not, how was the experience different?
Well, I've been working with, like the other guy at the other end, I've been doing machinima for quite some time now, I think since about 2006, and I wholeheartedly agree with you, it is the best format ever, because you know, you sort of like, you can control your own character, you can have multiple characters on it at the same time and not worry that actors are getting bored or fed
You
up.
have to feed them.
Yeah, exactly.
Not showing up on time.
Yeah, exactly. You just trying to get them to get on with it. It's like, yes, come on. But yeah, it is the best thing ever, and I wholeheartedly, you know, promote this because, you know, it is up and coming. I think, you know, machinima is starting to make its way. I mean, a lot of people are afraid of it, but I'm pretty sure it is coming around. Because I remember when Final Fantasy came around, Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, that bombed at the box office because, you know, people were afraid, oh, it's going to replace actors, and you know, no one's sort of like going to be interested in that. But it's now mainstream. 3D films are now mainstream, and I'm fairly certain machinima is now going to be starting to creep in and start making its way into that as well.
How long is pre-production for that usually take?
Actually, for me, it's usually fairly quick because, you know, once I have the idea, you know,
They want to hear you.
oh, thank you.
I'm supposed to be an all black doing that.
All right. Oh, okay.
I mean, like,
Sorry, I swallowed the microphone. Okay.
I hear you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Wonderful. But yes. Basically, I lost my place now.
Machinima's coming around.
Yeah,
Final
machinima.
Fantasy
Yeah.
IV.
Yeah. Machinima. It is awesome. Basically, yes.
Do you do storyboards for your machinima? Do you do pre-production?
Actually, no. I tend to write a script, like a rough script for myself, and then, you know, I start sorting out the props, the 3D props, the sets, and then it takes me one day to shoot it, one day, and then another day to edit it. I love editing though. I love video editing. So, you know, that's like my favourite bit. Once I've filmed it, I'm not actually fond of the filming bit. You know, it's because it's so difficult. You think you've got to do several takes before you get it right. But you know, after that, it's, you know, it's great. It's fine. So good. Thank you.
My primary focus over the past several years has been music and this band and everything. But I've directed several music videos for the band. They started out just kind of like scrappy little experiments and have gradually grown in ambition. And this is the first one where I tried to sort of make a narrative out of it, something that would work as almost a silent film, except wanting to have the performance element in there too, and the energy of the music.
Nice.
According to that introduction, I've been doing this for a long time. And, I won my Academy Award only 34 years ago, so. I have to say that storytelling is storytelling, and I got as much pleasure and satisfaction out of making this 3-minute and 51-second movie as I have all of the other movies that I've worked on and plays that I've had done around the world. But I think that I have a production company back in New Hampshire, and we've shot a couple of movies on budgets so small that I couldn't find them. And, but it's all storytelling, and I'm fascinated to be at this particular festival because I went into this panel a little while ago, some of you may have sat in on too, about virtual reality and other things can't begin to understand, but all those guys were saying is we need story. And so at the end of the day, that's all that it comes down to, is telling a story. And whether it's through a song or through virtual reality or sitting on your computer, story always wins. But I also wanted to pause for just one moment and thank Susan Johnston and all the people